Guidelines are in place that will allow doctors and other medical professionals working for the Veterans Affairs Administration to refuse to treat patients based on political or marital status. The rules were issued to comply with President Donald Trump's executive order designed to strip government protections from transgender individuals. Now, the rules also no longer prohibit the VA from discriminating against new potential employees.
Joining us this morning, our Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. Khalif, good morning. Nice to have you. We know thousands, hundreds of thousands of veterans, especially in both North and South Carolina, rely on the VA for the certain amount for the care. All right, so let's talk about anti-discrimination protections and what we're looking at here with some of these changes here. How is this going to affect our veterans for the care that they need?
Well, the Trump administration is keeping me on my toes. I can tell you that much. Having me make sure that I'm not missing something and wanting to ensure that I'm just staying consistent with what changes are in the law. As attorneys, we have to do that. We have continuing education, yearly required to go update. But there's some things that haven't changed. First of all, states' rights don't trump federal rights. Executive orders don't trump law. So that's what I'd first start with. And so when you have these guidelines, all of this is guidelines. They're recommendations, but they are blurring the lines in terms of how and when folks in the hospitals, specifically doctors, should act. In situations like this, I just go to what the law says, and we have established law that we have protected classes. And for years, I mean, that's under Title VII. We have race, gender, race, sex, age, national origin. Those are those protected classes. And when you have a protected class, you can't discriminate against a person like that because they're constitutionally protected, right? So then sex. For years, for a number of years, sex was only specifically male and female. That's what we were talking about. I mean, on the basis of sex, huge Supreme Court case, and that's how we got there. But if you can point to the Bostock versus Clayton County, Georgia, I've been there a number of times, that changed the whole definition of what sex was. The court talked about, went through a lengthy analysis about sex isn't just sex for male and female, but it also is sexual orientation. So if you are discriminated based on your sexual orientation, then now that is a protected class. Back to my original statement. If you're attempting to give guidance that contradicts what the courts have now deemed as accurate reflection of how the law should be read, this would seem to be at conflict. And if we have a conflict, I would just go to what my constitutional law professors told me. The Constitution, statute, or court interpretation of those things would trump any local, state, or executive order. So this, I would say, is a issue and a non-issue all at one time, because it's non-issue because if they start to discriminate on folks, now you've subjected the federal government to lawsuits that's clearly written that you can't do.
Well, so mentioned in here in these guidelines talking about political affiliation, also your marital status, those are not technically protected classes, though. I mean, just because you can doesn't mean that you should here. But I mean, how can you technically, can you ask someone that really and then say, no, sorry, we're not going to give you these services?
This is part of what I was laughing at when I read it. Like, how does this even come up in the course of our,
of your interaction there? Like, oh, hi, what is your party affiliation?
Right.
Oh, by the way, I mean, for
my
a doctor's
hurts,
office,
but
you
I'm a
can
Democrat.
say whether or not you're married, but
Yeah.
that doesn't determine your care.
I think it should not determine your care, and I think that party affiliation is probably more towards the transgender argument, where they're assuming that more Democrats would lean on that side, and because of that, maybe that's a way to discriminate. That's the only logical step that I could have. But back to your point, I don't even know how that discussion would start. Like, if I'm in there for care, for medical care, I don't even know how you would know my political affiliation unless I come on in there with a shirt that says, hey, I'm a Democrat and I'm married, or hey, I'm a Republican and I'm married. All right, now I can decide not to treat you. I just don't even understand who was in the room deciding that that was something that you could exclude or include in your decision making for care.
Khalif, non-issue and issue at the same time. Are you at all worried about the precedent that having some of these executive orders can set when you start to say, even though it's against the Constitution, against federal law, that you can make these decisions based on things like political party, gender, and all these things there that we know are against the law to discriminate against?
100%. I mean, I think it's a slippery slope. It's opening Pandora's box when you put a doctor in a situation where now you're confused if you're at conflict with what the law tells you that you're supposed to do or allowed to do. So, I mean, I'd start with their original oath is do no harm, right? You're supposed to be treating a person regardless of how they walk in the door and ensure they walk out better than they walked in. But if you're saying that now I can make a determination to discriminate against this person because of how I feel towards them, then it's clearly multiple steps backwards. We've had situations in this country where it was based on race. That's why we have these types of Title VII protections to ensure that people can't be discriminated against on these protected classes. This wasn't just someone making the decision one day to say, hey, I like these classes, let's make sure they're protected. No, we had a history in this country of discriminating against people in those situations, specifically based on sex, race, national origin, those types of things, in age. And because of that, because we wanted to protect those classes, we gave them these protections. So now if we're saying, well, that really doesn't matter, we're forgetting how long it took to get there. I mean, that was 1965, and since 65, those things have been protected. So I would find it hard to see any court saying, no, okay, now you can't protect these things, which were clearly protected. So this guidance, I didn't mean non-issue an issue. It's an issue. It's just I don't think the guidance is real, because you can't give guidance that is conflicting with what the law says.
All right. We have large military communities in both Carolinas, so we'll be watching this closely. Khalif, thank you very much.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.